Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. As you can see on your screen, we have a very special guest today. Outfielder, the starting center fielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers. James Outman joins Dodgers Daily. So, James, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Casey.
First of all, how'd the hitting session go today? Everything looking good with the swing?
Yeah, swing's feeling good today. It's been feeling good the last week or so. So that's promising.
Okay, good. So this time last year, I think I talked to you a little bit over a year ago. You were coming into spring training. You did not have the center field position one, but you were taking a whole lot of momentum. You made your major league debut in 2022. You had a ridiculously great season that year in AAA. So you were taking a lot of momentum into the spring training. You had a ridiculously great spring training. You had a great start to last year. So talk about that period of last season.
Yeah, I mean, last season, I felt like I was going in with, kind of one goal in my head, and that was to break, or and if that didn't happen, to spend as much time up there as I possibly could. So I was able to do both, and I'm really thankful for that, and I'm really thankful for the runway I was given during a little rough patch. But yeah, it was. I had the most fun playing last year than I ever had in a really long time, and I think a big part of that was, I wasn't playing to advance anymore. I was playing to win.
So you had a great spring training. You came out. Some people didn't even think you were going to break spring training with the club. You obviously earned that spot. You earned the starting spot. Then you stayed hot. You were hitting around 300 with an OPS close to 1,000 through April. So talk about that hot start.
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling really good in spring. I felt like my swing was kind of in a spot where I really liked it. I felt like I was really competitive, and I felt like I was just playing downhill. I felt like I had nothing to lose at that point, so I might as well just go out and have some fun and stick around.
All right, very good. So hey, it's not if, it's a matter of when. All rookies, every player, every year. You go through some ups and downs. You had a little bit of a You called it, I think, a tough patch there towards the middle of the season. So talk about that. I know you're having great at-bats, but talk about that and how you made it through that part of your year.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly just trying to weather the storm as best as I could, not let the emotions take hold too much, because it's easy when there's such a big when you're under such a big microscope like that. But it was credit to my teammates and the staff and everybody kind of helping me through it and keeping me relaxed. And I mentioned this before on a different show, but it was easy when we were winning, because we were winning in May, and it made that rough patch a little bit more. It was easier to swallow, because it was easier pill to swallow because of that. We were winning, so everyone in the clubhouse was happy and willing to help me out and everything. So I'm really thankful for that, for my teammates.
You mentioned the runway that the Dodgers gave you through that patch. Talk about that and what all that meant for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to know when the organization's got your back, and I really felt that there. I felt like they were giving me every opportunity to succeed, and I felt like it was a matter of time before I got out of it, as it is most of the time with baseball. So I'm thankful that they felt the same way, and I'm glad I was able to kind of get to the end of that tunnel and see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, then you got really hot, and you've mentioned several different times that Jason Hayward was a mentor to you. So can you talk about that relationship, what he's meant to you? Yeah,
no, he's been great. He was kind of like a big brother the whole season. He was usually like one of the first guys at least I would go talk to mid-game, just about the at-bats or about situations and stuff like that. And he was a good guy to lean on, because you knew he only wanted his teammates to succeed, and that made it really easy to kind of go up to him and ask him those questions, because you knew every answer you're going to get was coming from the heart with him, and it was coming from a good place of wanting to win and wanting to be a competitor and wanting the best out of his teammates.
You have to be super pumped that the Dodgers re-signed him. You have Manny Margot. You got Tio. Going to be a great outfield, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the first day of spring when we can all work together.
All right, James, you got your first major league season under your belt, so you went into the offseason. First of all, what surprised you the most about the major leagues, and then what things did you leave last season with offensively feeling comfortable with, and which things do you feel like you needed to work on the most in the offseason?
Yeah, so what surprised me the most was how good the pitchers were. Every single day they were bringing it. And I think part of it was because we were the Dodgers too, so they really were bringing it. But every single day, every single guy that they rolled out there was nasty. So getting used to that, the quantity of quality pitchers, I think was a huge adjustment. You know, and being able to compartmentalize at bats, understanding like, hey, maybe I'm not a good matchup for this guy. So that's where that went wrong, and understanding, just because that went wrong, that at bat doesn't mean that I'm screwed up or anything like that. It's just, maybe it was a bad matchup. Maybe he made some good pitches. You know, there's a reason why those guys get paid. So, to me, that was a big learning point for me. But, yeah, I felt like going through the season and finishing up, I was happy with myself that I was able to, you know, compete and get the job done, and as much as I could. You know, I feel like there's definitely some opportunities I want back, but yeah, going into this off season, I feel like I mainly was trying to work on covering the ball in and covering the ball up, mostly like action in and pitches at the top of the zone. I feel like that's kind of been the main focal point hitting wise this year.
Is that more of a mechanical thing or an approach thing, do you think?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think understanding like where my heat map is and stuff like that plays a big part into what pitches I can handle and what pitches I should and should not be swinging at. But with that being said, there's no reason to not try and work on, you know, whether it's a mental cue, like, I need to think about hitting the ball this way, or it's a physical cue of like, to get to this pitch, I need to like feel my body doing this. So I think it was a little bit of a combination of both, and been working with the hitting coaches this off season, just trying to dial in the best possible plan for that.
So you had good splits against lefties, but you definitely had more power against right-handers. Is there a different approach, a different swing based on the handedness of the pitcher?
For sure. Like I definitely think my approach changes against lefties. I'm trying not to do as much damage against them. And I think big reason of that is they're harder to hit from the left side. So I was just trying to put together a good at bat against lefties more so than slug. I just figured I'd stay alive against the lefties and do damage against the righties. That was kind of my approach. And, you know, ideally I'd like to do damage against both, but, you know, you gotta take what you can sometimes, especially with these guys. So
you've always been very explosive, both offensively, defensively. You've always had the big body, the great athlete. You were the linebacker in high school. But one of the things that you have worked really, really hard at is to create consistency. Were you happy with that? And what are some of the things that you have done to become a consistent major leaguer?
Yeah, I mean, I think to become a consistent major leaguer, you got to just put in consistent work. And, you know, credit to Clayton McCullough, our outfield coach with us. He's every single day he was there right by the dugout ready for me to get work done. And we would kind of bounce ideas off each other and just talk about the game from the previous night and talk about plays that maybe I could have been better on or not. And we'd get in the film room, just look at my first step with a lot of things, like a lot of at-bats defensively, and just trying to improve as much as I could. I was actually pretty proud with how I kind of turned around my defense. I think he was a huge help with that, helping me kind of just navigate the defense in the big leagues and trust my instincts and trust my athleticism. I think early on when everything was so new and it's easy to get tightened up and you know, kind of second guess your first step or second guess your instinct. So once we were able to iron that out, I feel like I was able to improve a lot as a hitter, or I mean, as a defender, sorry.
you have advanced analytics. I know they send them to you the day after, like in AA. Nowadays, Baseball Savant, you have them in AAA, but at the major league level, you have like 12 guys. I mean, it's like 12-fold. You have a guy for every single angle and every facet of the game. So how did you incorporate the advanced analytics into your type of game, a game that is very feel heavy?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope with that, because if you get too locked in on the analytics, then you kind of turn into a robot and you're not as good. So I think they did a good job at they gave me the analytics, I think, twice that year, just like, hey, this is your progress, this is your report card, basically. Like, this is what we got to get better on. This is what you're good at. So let's take it from here. And then from there, then it's easier to make a game plan instead of like going every single night, oh, how was my step on this play? And then that would just slow me down way too much. So, it's being athletic, that's kind of the name of the game, especially in the outfield. You just gotta go get it. You're playing a big game of fetch, basically. And I think if it gets overcomplicated, then you're not going to be very good. Those analytics are just more of a, more to show you where you're at rather than something to live and die by as a ball player, I think.
Got a chance to talk to the scout that signed you, Tom Kunis. What a cool dude. What positive energy that guy has. And he said the one thing that really you sold him on was just the ability to have a meeting, to listen and to apply. And I would imagine as you move up and you're playing against the greatest players in the game, that ability to listen to adjustments and then be able to apply them like you've always been able to do, I would imagine that had to have helped you.
Yeah, I suppose so. Tom was, I'm super grateful for Tom and him giving me a shot and all that. And he's been a great help. Even in 2020, he was helping us coordinate like a little mini camp going on when there was nothing going on at all. So I'm super grateful for that. And I felt like, I kind of owed it to him at that point to make it to the big leagues. But yeah, no, it's to get back to what you're talking about. I mean, I think it's just kind of one of those things, like you want to be as good of a ball player as you could possibly be. So, no one's perfect. And if you were, then you'd be batting 1,000 and you would you'd never swing at a ball or anything. So, and no one's like that. So, there's always room for improvement, and you gotta understand that you're never as good as you think you are, or as bad as you think you are.
Okay. So coming out of 2023, how would you describe James Outman? What type of offensive player are you? What type of offensive player do you want to be? And then also do that for the defensive side of the ball.
I would like to be a bat in the lineup that like changes the game. We got a pretty good lineup, so to say the least.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
that's funny.
In 2023, I felt like hitting in the bottom of the order. I had to learn. I'm not in that lineup to be the guy. So my job hitting at the bottom was to get Mookie up. That was my goal every single at bat, was if I can get Mookie up, we're going to be in a good spot. And then you got the whole cavalry following behind him. So that was kind of my. That's the guy that I wanted to be last year. Is someone that can help the team win any way I could. And if I didn't have it offensively, I tried being that guy defensively or on the bases or something like that. That's kind of always been my goal, to be honest. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of ways to help your team win rather than going 4 for 4 every night.
Yeah, especially because hitting is so hard, no doubt about that. So tell us where you're at in your off season, your routine, the adjustments you're making in the off season, and how that's all going for you.
Yeah, so this off season just been working on mechanics, kind of being able to clear the inside pitch a little bit better, a little bit more true, and not panicking to get to that inside pitch and letting my swing work. So we've really been hammering that this off season. That's kind of been the main focus. Offensively, defensively, it's just more of the same. Get better every single day. work on reads, work on fielding your ground balls, making good throws and stuff like that. It's kind of the basics, but
yeah.
I feel like in spring training when we're shagging during BP, that's when I get my best work in, not just in spring training, but just every day. Shagging BP, that's the best for outfielders. But just first step, and I just want to trust my instincts more and more this year, and I feel like they don't lie to me too often.
Does it take experience to trust your instincts? I mean, that seems like a hard thing to do at the major league level because those guys are so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier said than done. But I think everyone there, they're all athletes, and there's a part to the game that's it's kind of unteachable, where it's just the anticipation for where the ball is going and stuff like that. Like I remember really being able to see it with Rojas in front of me, because I was staring at him every single play pretty much, and he was always, you could just tell, like it seemed like he knew where the ball was going before it left the batter's bat. So, just it's one of those things that you can definitely get better at. I think the more reps you have, you can, get used to it more, and you got more experience under your belt, so you can see this pitch coming in. But I don't think it's anything that you can think about. It's just, you just got to see it over and over and over again. You see this pitch coming in, the hitter, like, which way the ball is going to go off his bat. I was actually talking to Doc a lot about that, understanding who's at the plate and like what kind of swing that they have, where they can do damage and where they can't do damage, and where their power is. If they hit the ball for power, where's that going to be? If they get singles, where's that going to be? So, just kind of piecing it all together, but you kind of do it through experience rather than sitting down and writing it down and understanding it like that, because, it's you only have milliseconds to make those decisions in the game.
As a kid, you sat down and wrote what your goal was, and you said your goal was to play for the Dodgers and hit bombs. I love that. That's one of my favorite stories of all time. Hey, you've done that. You've reached that goal, right? So have you ever just stood out there and gone, wow, I'm really doing, it's one thing to write it down as a kid. Every kid wants to do that, right? But it's another actually to get to do it like you've done it. Have you had that moment where you just kind of sat around and you really just can't believe what you're actually doing?
After my debut, I really felt like I had that, like I was able to step back and kind of feel good, but when you're in the season, it's like it's hard to take a step back, because you're surrounded by the game. You get so locked in on like, okay, like what's happening tomorrow? Like, who are we facing tomorrow? Like, what's this guy going to be throwing me? Like, what's their lineup like? And, it is nice to step back and appreciate how far you've come, but that doesn't get you very far. I think looking forward is the best path.
How was it when you took your first direct flight instead of having to have a layover in the airport? That's pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty convenient.
And a hell of a lot better than a bus ride, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't miss those. That's for sure.
The bus rides of the Texas League. Okay. Goals for 2024.
Win a World Series. That's my goal. I think we got the team to do it, and I think we got the clubhouse to do it. So I'm looking forward to that, and winning every single day. I think that's going to be at the forefront for everyone in that clubhouse. So that's what we're looking forward to, and that's what we expect. And I think come February 22nd, I think that's our first game. I think that's going to be on everybody's mind.
And it wouldn't be a James Outman interview on Dodgers Daily if I didn't ask you about Coach Walsh, Coach Giannino, Reggie, Tom. You mentioned Tom earlier, Tom Kunis, the scout that signed you, Henny, and all of the managers that you played for with the Dodgers. Talk about all the people that have helped a guy like you reach your dreams as a major leaguer.
Yeah, no, I mean, it takes a village for sure. Even my parents driving me to baseball lessons when I was a kid. You know, it took a lot of help to get to the big leagues, and I'm super appreciative of all that. And I think looking back at every single coach I've ever had and every single mentor or just anybody at all, I think they've all played a huge part in you know, what's come and what's going to come. So I can't be more thankful. If we sat down and started listing any name, I could probably tell you what I've learned from every single person.
No doubt about that. Hey, I have a couple of really fun questions for you. So do you mind hanging out for just a couple more minutes and answering a couple fun questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Last season, you were just 4 stolen bases away from 2020. Is that something that you thought about at the time? Is it something you think about right now? And can we expect 2020 from James Outman in the future?
So I've never gotten 2020. That's been my goal every year is actually 30-30, but I don't know. I got to get a little bit faster. I can't force that to happen. I know that, but you know, that's always kind of like, okay, I want a 30-30 season, but that's going to come through opportunities and playing the game smart. And I don't want to just, you know, go blind out there and just start running for no reason. So, yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like all last year, I was like, okay, I only need 4 more. Then the season started the end of the season started getting closer and closer. And it kind of got to the point where it's like, okay, 4 is going to be tough. Like it could be done, but I need to get on base. I need to get a good guy to steal off of. I need a good opportunity to run. And, you know, I definitely didn't want to force a problem. So
I was like, come on, dude, we have like a 10 game lead, man. Let's get those 4 stolen bases. All right.
Yeah. Well, getting on bases, that's the hard part.
Yeah. You can't steal first base, can you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, man. Very cool. So you mentioned the 30-30. All right. That opposite field home run in Baltimore, that was like the furthest opposite field home run I think that was ever hit in that ballpark. Do you remember that home run?
I do.
Did you feel pretty manly running around the bases?
Yeah, I didn't know that no one had hit one out from the left side over there. I didn't know that until the next at bat. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. I just hit it and I thought it was gonna be a double, so I started sprinting and cleared, and I was like, oh, cool, let's go, a homer.
That and then the game winner against Toronto that hit the top of the fence. Actually, I think that came against former Dodger Mitchell White. I actually got a chance to talk to Mitch while he's at Oklahoma City. So which one was the cooler moment? That one, the game winner against Toronto, or the one you hit against Chicago?
The grand slam against Chicago?
Yep.
Ooh. I would have to do the grand slam or the walk-off double. You know, I think, you know, anytime you get an opportunity to win the game and you do it, it's pretty cool. So I remember the Chicago one, like I was feeling pretty good after that one because it was so early in the season, and I still felt like I was trying to stick around, and that one felt like I had cemented myself a little bit there. But you know, the walk-off double is pretty cool too. It's always fun walking off at home. No
doubt. And by the way, you got to be happy mentioning Chicago. Got to be super happy for your boy Michael Busch, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to miss him. He's my buddy, but he's going to get a good opportunity to play there, and I think he deserves it. He's a good ball player, and I'm looking forward to what he has to bring.
You mentioned earlier this is going to be a pretty good offensive lineup. I think we would all have to agree with that. Okay, some are saying that the Dodgers are the most hated team in baseball. First of all, are the Dodgers the most hated team in baseball? And second of all, do you or does anybody on this team actually care?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Dodgers are the most loved team in baseball.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of happy fans about the moves that we made. And there's definitely a lot of unhappy fans too. But you know, it's the game, and I'm fortunate enough to be playing for a team that really wants to win, and they're putting all their putting all their eggs in that basket, and I'm appreciative of it. I want to win, and everyone else in that clubhouse wants to win, the moves that we've made, I think, are putting us in a good position. So now all we got to do is go out there, play, and have fun.
That is absolutely awesome. We mentioned all the coaches that have coached you before, and Tom and all those guys. Everybody that has either managed or coached you or been in contact with you, what's one thing they would all say about James Outman?
Oh, I'd hope that they say I'm like a good guy.
Oh yeah.
That's my main goal. I just want to be a good person. You know, I feel like I've grown a lot. And they've had a big part of that and helping me become a man, like, especially when I was younger, like in high school and stuff, teaching me about work ethic and all this stuff. But, to your question, I think, work ethic. I hope that they all think that, because I try and put in the work. And yeah.
Okay, we saw your mascot last year that you keep in your locker. What is one routine that you do every single day before games that maybe none of us know about?
I don't know. I feel like it changed. Like, the routine changes. It's not set in stone, you know.
Sure.
And if we've been winning, you know, I'll keep rocking the same whatever, you know, long pants, short pants, arm sleeve, no arm sleeve. You know, I try and get all the good mojo out of anything that I can. So I know it's ridiculous. Like, it's not really true, but it might be.
What's it like to enter a locker room and go, hey, there's Mookie Betts, there's Freddie Freeman, there's Shohei Ohtani. Hey, there's, you know, what's it like to enter a locker room that has that much star power to it?
It's pretty cool. It's really cool to watch them work and just see how precise they are with everything that they do. And, you know, I feel like anybody can learn a lot from it, and being there kind of like on the ground with them, it's just really cool, man. You get more and more used to it. You get used to seeing the faces and stuff, but it's every once in a while you step back and like, man, that guy is so good.
Yeah.
And you know, they'll do some things on the field that's just crazy. They just take over a game. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in the clubhouse. It's going to be fun.
Had a chance to go back and see all the boys there at Sarah?
No, I didn't go back this year. Didn't go back. I usually try and make it there like once or twice, but I still got some buddies from Sarah that I keep in contact with, and I saw them, but I wasn't able to get back to Sarah. Actually, no, that's a lie. I was there for the homecoming game.
Oh, nice. Did they win?
Yeah, they did. They were really good last year. The football team, they were really good.
How was the linebacker play? Did you analyze it?
Yeah, I think they're better than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I was watching their defense. They were so fast. They're all fast and big, and I was like, man, I'll get dominated now. It's high school football now, especially there. They're really good.
Your dad told you, hey, you have this enormous goal. You want to become a major leaguer. It's like, hey, how do you eat an elephant? One step at a time. Do you feel like you've eaten that elephant yet? Or is there still some to go?
I think it's never ending.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's never ending.
All right, man, looking at all that, this is my last question for you. I know you're super busy. You've taken so much time, James Outman. You are such a kind young man, so I thank you so much. Of all of this enormous goal that you've reached, I brought that last question up to say this, to eat that elephant, to make this enormous goal of making the major leagues. There's so many things you had to do to get here. So of all the things that you've done or have become, what would you say you're the most proud of?
Yeah, I'm proud of looking back and like realizing I kind of stuck to it. And it's kind of like the eating the elephant analogy, you know. It's you can't get too far ahead. You can't get stuck on the past, and you know, I think just putting in the work every single day and kind of like keep my head down, and trusting the process. It's a very widely used term, but it's true. You know, you gotta, you know, have your game plan and stick to it. And the plan's going to deviate, but as long as you're staying on the path as much as you can, that's how I think you can kind of reach those goals. But, you know, you're never going to be a big leaguer if you quit or give up. So I think I'm most proud of that.
Man, that is awesome. And it's just so awesome that you've taken the time to come back in here at Dodgers Daily again, James. And again, I know you're super busy. I mean, you're getting ready to start a major league season, right, with Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers and the team that's scheduled to win the World Series right this year. I will say that myself. You don't have to say that there. But, hey, James Outman, thank you so much for joining Dodgers Daily. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on.